Subramaniam Swamy, BJP MP, joins us now live on the phone line. Mr. Swamy, in fact, he's live with us right now. Mr. Swamy, Mr. Alphonse says if it's a hoax, if it's proved to be a hoax and a plant, the NSA should be slapped against those. Amit Malviya calls this a communist Islamist conspiracy in Kerala. How do you view this now that we know there was no formal offer, no amount specified ever?
Of course not. You see, the Prime Minister has extremely good relations with the leaders of the UAE, and we would not be in a very light-hearted manner or in a flippant way just reject what the UAE gives. If it had, but the UAE had not. And we have a policy which actually was followed even by Manmohan Singh, and that policy is that for matters like this, where internal natural disaster takes place, where only it is well within our budget, well within our economy, and we should be asking foreigners to come here, then tomorrow there have to be inspection and so on. So as a policy, we don't want foreigners on these matters, and this is a policy many other countries follow. The Americans don't allow it, the Chinese don't allow it, and all self-respecting countries will not allow it on a matter like this. So why was it done? It was because the RSS and RSS organizations had done extremely good work, like they had done earlier in Gujarat when the earthquake took place, which Mrs. Gandhi herself had to acknowledge, and they felt that this whole climate will now change towards the BJP, and therefore they concocted this lie which is called disinformation. And I agree they should be prosecuted because this is tantamount to sedition, to create a feeling that our country is, our government is against the people,
right,
and will
Dr.
not
Swamy,
accept
the existing policy
aid from UAE because they are Muslim
notwithstanding,
country.
The existing policy, which has been, by the way, in place for 14 years now, and the previous government also followed it, you're absolutely right there. But do you think there is an element of mischief here, political mischief,
Yes.
and which is unfortunate because we're talking about a calamity where thousands are stranded, many people have died, and the only thing anyone should be thinking about right now in terms of Kerala is how to help the effort, not to look for kinks or try and look for political points here.
No, I agree. That's why they have cooked up this. They wanted to make it a Hindu-Muslim issue, and that's why so many, if you see the newspapers of the radical Muslim right in Kerala, they've all played it up as leading frontline headline. This kind of disinformation the Soviet Union had perfected, and now these people are continuing it. They are, after all, a communist government here. They're used to telling lies, which is may sound credible at a very crucial moment. And when they said UAE is ready to give money, and somebody who's an NRI there, he also supposed to have announced it, everybody started thinking this is credible. I'm glad this has been exposed by the UAE government itself.
Do you think,
and that
Dr.
is why
Swamy,
I think it was an attempt to spoil our relations with the
Dr.
Yes.
Swamy, do you think that on
Yes.
three things the CMO and the Chief Minister himself need to come clear? One, on what basis are they quoting a conversation between the Prime Minister of India and the Sheikh of UAE? Number two, who exactly and when gave them an specified amount of 700 crore? And three, if there was no real offer at any given point in time, why did they speak to the media about a specific amount? If they don't, do you think there's something wrong and it must be investigated?
Excellent questions, and the answer is very simple. They were hell-bent on making mischief so that the good name of RSS relief work does not get publicity.
We spoke to an MP of the left, sir, and immediately after he was asked about why the Kerala Chief Minister is not coming out with the clarification, he immediately flipped the question and said the government should say why there was no clarity on their side whether or not there was a credible offer or not. In turn, sir, we quoted the entire sequence of events and the fact that the Prime Minister thanked the UAE Sheikh for an offer of help. There was no amount specified. What does that tell you, Dr. Swamy?
Yes, absolutely. Diplomatically, nobody is going to say, I will give you such an amount. They'll say, do you want help? Can we be of any help? That is the usual diplomatic procedure. And so this, the statement itself that 700 crores was offered to us and we have not accepted itself shows that it is a novice who is unaware of the diplomatic procedures who has floated this for mischievous reasons. So there's nothing for, every time an allegation is made against the government is not required to rebut it. There are enough of us to rebut it, and now they have been exposed. They should give an unconditional apology, or as our minister said, they should be prosecuted for sedition.
It's also a certain section of the media, I'm not going to comment on it, but it was, the understanding now is that certain media organizations, certain individuals tried to push this story as a real story. Today, of course, they have many questions to answer. Times Now didn't. But do you think, and do you follow what the social media chief of BJP has said? It's a quote-unquote left, communist, Islamist conspiracy to malign India.
Oh, certainly. If you're talking about Amit Malviya's thing, he said it correctly. That is the gang up, and that is the one that is most afraid of the expanding influence of RSS in what they thought was their backyard, namely Kerala. And now the people are already understood. There is anybody who can restore Kerala to some kind of civilized society, it will be the RSS and the BJP, and that's why they are doing like this.
Sir, there are also a couple of other questions I have for you. Politicians jumped at it immediately, and politicians of all hues, really. We have statements from prominent politicians in Kerala, not just the Chief Minister, who are now today still maintaining that they thought the offer was real. Do you think all those who try to exploit it and exploit the perhaps non-existent schism between the people of Kerala and the government should be in fact put in the dock today and need to clarify on why exactly they did not verify? And the same yardstick, Dr. Swamy, must be for certain individual ministers of the government who've been asking the centre for a one-time waiver. Do you think the same standard should apply to the minister also?
I think first of all, the Chief Minister should be targeted for this purpose. And I say targeted because it has to be done with the full force of our investigating agencies, and make him either face a prosecution or apologize in public, the same way that he had publicized it in the first place. All these ministers and all will fall by the wayside once the Chief Minister is prosecuted.
All right, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, many thanks for speaking to us on this story. BJP MP Dr. Subramanian Swamy there speaking to Times Now.